Gators Power Systems is the area's leading Kohler standby generator solution, specializing in maintenance, repair, and installation on all major brands, from gas to diesel and 2 kW to 2000. Home or commercial, our team has you covered. Our factory-certified technicians and installers are highly trained to provide response and repair when you need it the most. We service what we sell, period. Trust the Gators, where we sink our teeth into service.
All right, welcome back. A rainy day in the HTV viewing area. It's been a little hectic. We've been looking at pictures people have been sending us. We've been taking phone calls. So we decided to come on and take phone calls. If you want to call HTV, let's go to the satellite imagery, if we could, real quick. Jason, we'll get that going in a second. There you see it. We'll just keep it up on that for a little while so I can talk to the people. We're on Facebook too, because we want to urge people to call in and give us details, because I was talking to several people, and folks, in some areas at Terrebonne Parish, we've had over 12 inches of rain. Now, I know Lafourche has similar situations, so we're going to get official things, but I was told in Chauvin they've emptied 2 6-inch rain gauges already. I know that just north of Houma, 13 inches in some spots. Broadmoor, I think, had close to 12 inches. So we're going to go to that amount of rainfall that has fallen in some of these areas. Look, Broadmoor's at 10.32 or 38 inches of rain. Let's go to Chauvin, see if what I was hearing was correct. Yeah, 12 inches. I just saw 12 mark. Go back up a little bit, Jay. Oh, right there. Go down. Real slow. 12 inches of rain. So what people are telling me is authentic. This is real. So 12 inches of rain in Chauvin, and it's been pounding HTV's roof for a while, so I can appreciate what a lot of people are going through. So we're going to open up the phone lines, and Jay, is somebody on right now? All right, let's just take some phone calls while we can. HTV, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Martin, this is Ross, bro. What's up with the pumps?
Yeah, that I don't know. I haven't had anybody on today. I invite anybody on to come give us some information. Where you live at?
In Lafayette Woods.
Lafayette Woods. Just describe your situation. What are you going through? I'm just trying to get some firsthand accounts of what people are going through. Any idea how much rain fell around Lafayette Woods? If not, I could get Jay to pull up the map, and he could just hold it on the map, Jay, while I talk to people. That'll be fine. And let's try to find out around Lafayette Woods how much rain actually fell.
I'm not too sure on how much rain fell, but the streets are so flooded.
Yeah, and people have been sending me pictures, and it to be honest, it's so hard for us to load them all up so quick. So I just decided to come on live and take some calls and talk to people. And 9.8 inches y'all have had in your area.
Jeez Louise.
Yep.
Yeah, at least it's Friday afternoon and my kids are enjoying it.
Yeah, but I mean, now let me ask you this, because most of this is over a period of time, but we all know, and in fairness to everybody dealing with pumping situations and all, if you get too much rain in an hour, there's no pump going to take care of that. So, normally, go ahead.
Fill up to a certain height and it don't go no more.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, the pump can't keep up and not designed to keep up. So 3 or 4 inches in an hour is a lot of rain. And we were getting hit pretty good at some points. So, and I'm sure go ahead.
It's blacked off a little bit right now. It's just drizzling, but 30 minutes ago it was.
Oh, it was coming down. You see that big swath that just passed over Houma proper that passed us now. We got a little clearing. And Jay, were you trying to tell me something? Okay, I thought I'm talking to our producer too, just trying to make sure that I could get all information. But so It said at 3:07 Central Standard Time, Doppler radar indicated moderate rain due to thunderstorms. Well, moderate's an underscore.
Right.
I mean, it was more than moderate at some points. And I had, people telling me that had calls in the Gibson area. They got hit early yesterday and today. And so I'm curious, Jake, can we get a look at Gibson and find out?
My brother-in-law lives in Gibson. He said it ain't that bad right now.
And Gibson's not bad right now because it's past, but I'm trying to get an idea of, and move across Gibson to see if there was different. There's 7.02 inch and 9. There you go. Keep going south is by Greenwood 10.3 inches by Greenwood. So everybody was getting hit pretty good. Where does he live in Gibson?
Down Deadwood.
Down Deadwood? Okay, yeah, go further that way. There's Deadwood. And that'd be a little less, I think, in Deadwood when I was looking at the map. He's probably going to be in the 7s, 6 or 7s.
Yeah, he said it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. That's something when in Terrebonne Parish we say 6 inches isn't terrible, huh? We've graduated, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Look, I told people yesterday to expect the worst, which would be 12, 13 inches of rain. And some people thought I was absolutely nuts for saying that. And I said, I said, this is accumulation of rain, and we're not through yet. I said, this could, impact us quite a bit. And as you can tell now, as we move into Galliano and Golden Meadow and those areas, they're about to get what we just had. New Orleans has not received it yet. I'm talking about this latest round because everybody's been through the glob already. So we just got to see, this thing was developing. I also said that yesterday, and same thing. I said, this thing's going to develop into a system, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's named a depression or a tropical storm. And I got those looks, and sure enough, it was trying to get its act together. And rain is rain. Rain is rain. Have you talked? Is your family okay? I mean, have you talked to your brother? Is everybody in a good situation?
Good. We made it through Ida. We can make it through anything.
Oh, you're right about that. I mean, and that's why I'm so hesitant sometimes to come on unless people are urging us to, because, when we sat on the air for Ida for hours and hours, and I sat on the same seat, same studio, and for 8 hours we were getting hit by those, I call them demonic winds. They were so strong. And if you can make it through that.
With that studio for the whole storm, huh?
Whole storm for days. Had a great crew. We sat here and we wrote it out. But I remember when I would go and try to get some on-location footage and the trees everywhere and everything that was going on. It was terrible. But this is a rain event, so we like to put it in perspective. And, we don't want to over-exaggerate anything. But for people with water in their houses right now, we don't have any. We know there's a lot of street flooding. We know there's a lot of flooding around homes. But if anyone has actual water in their home, or if you know of somebody and you're watching us on Facebook or here.
If you want to get your camera crew to go ride to, and what's that road called right here? East Park, across from Carriage Cove.
Yeah.
Along that bayou, bro, them people got some water. I'm talking, if not in the house.
Carriage Cove?
No, across the street from
across the street. So if anybody's watching, call 879-1231 and give us a play-by-play, and we'd love to hear from you. Also like to hear from anybody in the public sector that wants to give information out to the public. We'd appreciate that. And we know that there's a lot of volunteer firemen that go out and try to help out in these situations, along with the police, the state police, the sheriff's department, and everything else. So, Jason, maybe we could get the sheriff on the line too. Let's try to get the sheriff and
APD was they was roping off the prospect just a while ago.
Yeah, I'm
Prospect
sure.
is shut down.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to move this water out, but we appreciate you calling for sure. And if you hear anything else, give us a holler, okay?
Yeah, sir. Have a nice day, Martin.
Take care of yourself now.
All right.
Bye-bye. Once again, just trying to gather some information on the area. Lafourche, if you have a little break in the action from trying to take care of your loved ones or whatever, give us a call, 879-1231. And we're just trying to let you know that we're on it and trying to look at the situation. Once again, as you see this swath pass by, I just hope we can get in that little cove. We have Miss Jessica Domingue on the air right now, and of course, she is our state representative. And Miss Domingue, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Martin?
Oh, we are good, but I'm looking at these rain totals, and it's, I'm not going to roll my eyes because we knew this was coming. We knew we had a potential to have some serious rain. And what are you hearing out there firsthand? I know you got your eyes and ears on it. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so we're hearing that there's some street flooding and Bayou Large. We're hearing that there's some street flooding off of East Street. We're hearing street flooding in Chauvin and Cocodrie. I haven't heard too much from Montague, but we're just kind of staying abreast and kind of waiting and seeing. It looks like we're still in for a pretty long night and a pretty long day tomorrow, and so we just have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah, I'm looking at the tail end of that radar. If it scoots up north, it seems to be moving a little bit more northeasterly. So you're right. We're gonna get some of that tail end. I just hope we don't get those reds, those oranges. The yellows are bad enough. So,
Yeah.
so we just we don't want to get into that for sure.
Right. Yeah. And look, Martin, I'm in the city, and everything is clogged, and everything is really swollen. Our ditches are overflowing, and so we can only take so much, right? I mean, we can only take so much more rain, and so I think that we just kind of have to pray that we don't get too much because we're kind of at our breaking point right now.
Well, and this is what I tell everybody, and everybody gets real amped up. I get it. I've had water in my house before for several storms. I get it. That's the worst feeling in the world when you get that. Of course, when we've been through Ida and we get sort of, I guess, programmed to think a certain way. But here's the thing. Those pumps can only take so much. And when we exceed that rainfall, like we're seeing on these images I'm showing you, it's impossible for the pumps to keep up if you're getting probably more than 3 or 4 inches an hour. It just becomes a situation where you just got to wait. You got to wait this thing out. And it's not helping us that it is so much of a slow mover.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We saw that in 2016 in Baton Rouge with the floods in Baton Rouge. And that's really kind of what inundated that area and that community is just a slow mover. And there's not a whole lot you can do. There's only so much that you can do with the pump systems, and so we really just have to kind of watch it and see, and hopefully everything works out for the best.
You're much younger than me, state rep, and I remember in '92 when Teddy Dewey was parish president, and those rains came out. I think it was '92. I'm almost sure, but it was we had 14 inches of rain. In the 6-foot canal where in back of where you live and all those areas, St. Gregory, everything was underwater. And I can remember just the magnitude of water that came in. Pumps couldn't keep up. We have exceeded that. I mean, y'all have worked hard as a delegation, former administrators, former parish presidents. I know I've covered, 8 of them now, have worked to increase pump capacity. But it just goes to show you when Mother Nature calls and drops 13 or 14 inches of rain in a short period of time, ain't a whole hell of a lot you could do.
Right. But we can still continue. I think that I actually saw Parish President Dove on Fox 8 News earlier, and it was nice to see him on there. But, he mentioned, we've got a pumping capacity. We've got so many pumps in Terrebonne Parish, but we have to continue the work. We have to continue to build up our infrastructure. And, we get a lot of flack, and a lot of people get upset whenever we talk about the levees and we talk about the pumps or the flooding, but this is the most important thing, right? I mean, for Terrebonne Parish, we live on the coast, and so we have to continue to build this infrastructure, because if we don't have that storm protection, if we don't have that flood protection, nothing else matters. I mean, if you're getting water in homes, the roads, nothing else matters. And so we have to continue that. And so hopefully we're able to continue to build that and to build that infrastructure. And so we're working in Baton Rouge to make sure that we bring awareness to the Bayou area and to make sure that we can continue that work.
And you're a perfect one, because you started on the local level. So you got that local level down. You were studying the local level pretty hard. Then you got elected. People put faith in you to bring you to Baton Rouge. So you get a good mix. Some people go to Baton Rouge, they get elected, and they don't have that local experience. So you know what it is to have the local experience and then bring it to Baton Rouge, and you can sort of fight smarter for what you need because you've been through it.
Absolutely. There's a few of us. There's a few freshmen and there's a few women who were all council women, and we're all really, really good friends. And so that has been interesting. We actually had those conversations about the fact that, look, we were in our short boots, and we were in our, we had boots in our car at all times to make sure that we were able to go in those floodwaters and make sure. And sometimes it's hard to take that councilwoman hat off and, put that state representative hat on, because those lines are really blurred, because you get so used to being boots on the ground for everything. But then knowing that working with parish government is the most important thing. And we have to be a team, Martin. I think that, people in the parish need to realize that, parish government doesn't work without state and federal government, the same as state doesn't work without federal. And we all have to work together, and we all have to be a team, a cohesive team.
Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about it. And it's just, I was telling my assistant, Joni Petrie, today that it doesn't change. These satellites, they all start to look the same to me. After doing this for 40 years, I mean, they differ. This one to me sort of looks like Juan with less wind punch. But you remember Juan, of course, once again, I'm a little older than you, so I don't know how old you were in '85 when Juan came through, but it just poured water on top of us, and it was a mess. It really was a mess. But we've done so much to get water out quicker, which really is a saving grace in this one. Now, if you got water in your house, there's nothing I'm going to say or you're going to say that's going to make anybody feel better. We just pray that they can find relief from it. I tell people, if your streets are flooded, I get it, but as long as it's not in your house, I think you're doing okay. So have you heard anything about home flooding, or is it mostly just street?
I have not heard anything about home flooding. I've only heard about street flooding. I've seen a lot of swollen ditches. I've seen a lot of swollen bayous. I would encourage people, though, if you get water in your home, either call the EOC, which is the Terrebonne Parish Emergency Management Operations, or you can call my office, and we can link you guys. If anybody gets water in their homes, we can make sure that we can link you guys to the appropriate resources, to whatever that is.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving us that information. Just to let you know, official reports experiencing flooding include Houma, Thibodaux, Lockport, Bayou, Gray, Raceland, Matthews, Shriever, Chauvin, and Montague. And Jason, if we could bring up that amount of inches that have fell in some of these areas, let's go once again and just go to Chauvin in the southern part of Terrebonne Parish, because Ms. Domingue, this, let's see, we had about 13 inches in some areas. That's incredible.
Right, and once you get that much water in the data, there's nowhere for it to go. And so, obviously we have to rely on the pumps. We have to rely on the systems that we have in place. But at some point, when we get that much rain and that much water, there's not a whole lot that we can do.
I thought I saw 16 on there, Jason. If you could peruse it just, right there. Go a little bit. What is that, 19? Keep going. No, keep going a little bit to the right. Other way. Oh, right there. You just skipped over it. You're hopping right over it. I could have sworn. No, keep going. There was a 19 in there somewhere. Of course, it could be a false reading. I hope it is, but you never know what he sells. It's a little lower than that, Jay, a little more south. But anyway, 12 or 13 is bad enough. I hope we don't see a 19. I thought I saw it right there by Dulac. But I could be wrong. That's just, could be my eyes playing tricks on me at this point. But so State Rep, you're right. When you get that much water, it's just hard. Where do you move it? To water, Mm-hmm. And I urge everyone, and I think you'll agree with this, because when you were a councilwoman, and even now as a state rep, I know people, they get anxious and they get angry and they get upset, and the people answering the phone at certain places, whether it's different aspects of the government dealing with it, they sort of lash out at the people answering the phones. And I would just urge everyone to take a deep breath and let the ones answering the phone do their jobs, connect you to the right people, and then you'll get your answers done. But I promise you, there's nobody sitting around doing nothing. Everybody's trying to make this work and trying to make a go of getting some of this water out of it. But there comes a time after all these things where you sit down and you have that quarterback session and you try to fix it. So I appreciate you joining us, Ms. State Rep. Thank you so much. And let us know if you hear anything else, for sure.
Absolutely. I just want to encourage everybody and remind everybody, we don't necessarily, our office doesn't necessarily have control over the pumps and things like that. I mean, I did, but we just don't anymore. But what we do have control over is to be able to link people and to be able to help people with free resources if they need it. So God forbid, I pray that no one in Terrebonne Parish gets water. But if they do, absolutely reach out, and we'll make sure they get the right resources to be able to help them to make whatever it is whole again for them and their families.
All right, good. We have the parish president coming in. While he comes up here, I'm going to get the sheriff who's on the phone. I'm going to talk with the sheriff. We got the parish president, Jason Badgerall, coming in. We'll let him get situated. And Sheriff, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good. Good to talk to you. How are you doing today?
Hey, good, Martin. How you doing? We treading a little bit of water with the rain.
Oh, I bet for sure. And I'm going to get our studio. Maybe you could put it on the speaker so the parish president could hear it also. But, I mean, I know y'all been up and down the streets, and I was just urging everybody, don't lash out at people when you call people or talk to people. And I know there's a lot of people working, trying to get this. But some of the rain that has fallen in this parish.
My neighbor sent me a picture of my house and said they got the water not in my house, but my ditch is pretty full and it kind of moves up in the yard, especially when we have heavy rain like that.
Yeah.
So even in areas, in certain areas of Berg, and we're monitoring a lot of areas where normal water likes to pool up, especially when we have heavy rains.
Yeah, I mean, we were going through some of the rainfall totals, and I remember yesterday saying that it won't take long for it to reach 12, 13 inches in some spots. And I know some people thought I was crazy, but we've seen this before. A storm moving this slow, dropping this much water, it's going to pool up on you. We also have the police chief coming in, Travis Terrio. But have you seen any areas that are, I know you've been all over the parish, that are, what's the worst area you've seen, Sheriff?
Well, I mean, when it stops, like right now, I'm in gray. So the rain's kind of held back right now, so it gives it time for some of that water to go down. And when a heavy rain, that's when it starts pooling up. But I mean, the normal areas of caution when you come out of a prospect, a lot of time water likes to pool there. So when people are coming on prospect and coming off a prospect from the overpass, just be cautious on the McDonald side, because right before you get there, that's an area there where it likes to pool up with water. And you see a lot of water on the shoulders of the road along 24 where it kind of pools on the highway.
Right.
And that's areas where especially our drivers need to be very cautious on those areas so they don't hydroplane.
Right. But I know this brings back a lot of memories, especially for you. I remember me and you chuckle, but we chuckle cautiously because when you first started coming on HTV, it was like one thing after the other. And we were like, can the sheriff even get a chance to breathe? He's just been elected, but it was one thing after the other. But after going through Ida, doesn't Ida sort of teach us all to take a deep breath and say, okay, look, this is bad, but this is not Ida. You know, sort of Ida's the template, right?
That's it. And I mean, look, with the normal rainfall, when we have heavy rains, there's areas of caution, and our officers are out there monitoring those areas. And if it becomes cautious, then we'll reach out, either put signs or whatever, especially if it's not passable, and making sure it's passable for our vehicles so nobody gets stranded.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, if you would keep an eye out for us and just let us know if you see anything problematic,
Yes,
if
sir.
there's anything we could relay, you know, just give us a call and we'll be glad to put you on and give us that information.
well, in the gray area right now, we got a little drizzle. We had some heavy rain earlier, and when it gets heavy in those areas where it picks up, that's where it likes to pool water, especially in some of those problematic areas. But right now, with the lull that we're getting here, at least on the north end of the parish, it'll give it a chance for some of that water to go down, and we just got to keep monitoring. Every time it picks up heavy rain, is monitor those areas.
All right, Sheriff, thank you. We appreciate it. And thank you for
Yes, sir.
serving our area, and we'll talk with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care. All right, joining us now live in the studio, the parish president, Mr. Jason Badgeron, and the police chief of Houma, Travis Terrio. Good to see y'all.
Good afternoon, sir.
It is your birthday today, right?
It is my birthday.
I
wish for no rain.
Somebody
but
said it was your birthday, and I sent you a happy birthday wish. I said, but
I hadn't made it there yet.
he's fighting.
I hadn't made it through that text yet. Nothing yet.
He's fighting rain, you know, on his birthday. But just give us an overview. Just a lot of rain this fall.
A lot of rain. Look, and our crews, myself, council members have been all out and about this afternoon. Anytime we make aware of an issue, just making sure that we see what's going on and how the water's flowing. And, you know, I've seen some conversations about what about sandbags. You know, this is actually less rain than I saw we got the last couple times. And so based on the information we received, and that's what we do, we go off of what the weather people tell us, how much rain they think we'll get and what period of time. We decided to have our crews out and about working on clearing drains. And I know of 2 situations that water entered buildings and it was extreme circumstances. And so, you know, it's one of the situations that we wanted to do the best we could with our crews. But we're out and about, and I passed 2 vacuum trucks on the way over here, just sucking out in different areas. And just, you know, sometimes things are good and something clogs something up. And that's what we had, I think, in at least one situation. So we're out and about.
Yeah. Now, let me go to the police chief. Y'all been out about in the city streets of Houma. Any problematic areas that you've seen?
So there's a few streets on both east and west side of Houma. Normal, you know, Margaret Street for sure. That one's flooded. We have Morris.
That's
Morris
every
Street.
rain, just about.
Yeah. And in some normal areas, if you live in the area and we get some rain, it comes up and then it goes down rather quickly. I talked to my shift commander on the way over here. He informed me that it looks like the water's starting to reside in some areas. And you know, all we need. Look, our guys out there, we put a few extra patrol units out to try and keep up and monitor things, make sure nothing's, any unsafe activities are going on. So just be prepared. You know, you'll come up, you may see some yellow tape. Just be prepared for a detour. Some be a short, quick detour. Everybody needs to be patient. The roads are slippery. it's business as usual in our town. So enjoy some quality family time at home if you can, and just be prepared for a detour. This isn't anything that we haven't all dealt with.
And people need to slow down when they get in those streets that have a lot of water on. We've talked about that forever, but there's always somebody that tries to roar through it.
Yep, and I think we've had one vehicle that is stalled out in the water, and I think it was as a result of them hitting the water too fast and just taking in some water through the intake, and it shut that car down, from what I gather, because I've seen the pictures. It wasn't real deep. I think the worst we've seen is probably around Prospect in that low section, and other than that, in 25 years, I think the parish is handling it very well. And like you said, all the workers are out and everything's doing good. Everybody's doing everything they can.
It just takes time with water. We know that, just in the amount of water. Let's go back to that map. I'm going to ask our crew to bring it up again. And you can tell we were getting ready for the football show. So we're talking rain on the football show. But let's bring up the rain totals if we can again, because somebody had called me in the Chauvin area and said they emptied 2 6-inch rain gauges. And I was going, wow, that's 12 inches. I could add that. But they've had 13 inches in some parts of the southern part of the parish. We saw 14 a little north of the city of Houma. We saw 12 inches in the western part of the parishes. Folks, that's a lot of rain. It's a lot of rain falling in a certain amount of time. Is it still the 3 or 4 inches that we can handle approximately an hour of water, somewhere around that?
My understanding is an inch the first hour, a half inch every, hour after that. And it does depend on where you are and just riding around in some of the areas. I was riding around this afternoon, you'll have an area that has water, and between it and the area the water's going to end up doesn't have water. So it could be a clogged drain. It could be something that.
Well, the reservoir's full too.
Right. And in some situations you have a reservoir that fills up first, that then fills up the streets, that then goes to a reservoir, that then goes into a canal. So, getting people to understand that the streets are made to hold water. It is part of the flood reduction system. And again, it's either a reservoir before or after it. And, there's always an opportunity for us to do better and to make some improvements. And one of the things we're asking is for people to send us videos and pictures of where it is, because that's the information that we can use to go to the state and say, I need to make some repairs here. Here's the supporting information that shows, and the main point we're also trying to make sure we do is keep water out of people's homes. Right. Again, I know of 2 instances that it got into a building or a home in extreme circumstances in both of those. So again, we're doing everything we can to make sure we keep it out. But if you have that information, share it on the Facebook page and let us know, or call the parish, and we can tell you where you can email it or send it to us. But we want the information, and we're going to continue to make improvements.
Now, y'all been on the phone. I don't know. Do y'all do this with the National Weather Service still on the daily calls for a storm like this, or is this just inter-parish stuff working right now?
So we got our EOC is always in communication with the Weather Service. And so, that's who we're talking to, our main guy in the parish, and he's getting the information from the best of the best to understand what it's going to look like and what our potential threats are. And then we make decisions from there. And again, it seems like a lot of water now, but I know that I went in places today that had less water or no water compared to 2 or 3 storms before. And I say storms this year, so, some of those issues might have had water due to something being clogged, and we fixed that, and now that area didn't have water this time. And we're going to deal with that in every rainstorm.
What are we looking at for the next, let's say, 24 hours? Well, let's do 12, because half the day tomorrow could be decent, half the day could have rain.
Yeah, and as these lows come through like this, all of a sudden something spins up out of nowhere. And so, I would expect, we're going to expect some rain. We're going to continue to monitor the systems. We're looking on the intake and the outflow of the pump stations and seeing what footage they're at, and balancing it, just making sure we got enough water on both sides, that we're doing everything we can to keep it out of the homes and get it out the streets as soon as we can.
As far as all the pumps right now working, or they? Every
pump's working. We pumped down before. Everything that we would do and should do, we did. We pumped it down. We got it ready to go. And we continue to pump, and everything's online, and nothing's broken. We got
pump all you want. When you get 13 inches of rain, it fills up pretty quick.
Yes.
Yeah, and the police chief, you've seen a few of these before.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, you compare to where we were at 25 years ago to now.
Yeah.
Look, it's a big difference in what we're looking at. I think I wholeheartedly believe the work that's been done in the parish, it's making a difference.
You remember when Teddy Douay was parish president? We had the May floods.
Well, I wasn't, that was a little longer than 25 years ago, but I do remember the May floods. I was a kid.
In St. Gregory and all that area underwater. And I just remember how frustrated he was at the time. And it was just, and that was 14 inches of rain. That was a good gully washer, but we've had 14 in the northern part of the parish or whatever. So this is a great example of how far we've come, actually, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
it's a
look,
good thing.
being out and about in the neighborhoods, I know there's some neighborhoods that are having some trouble flushing the toilets, and I understand how frustrating that is. I mean, I grew up in neighborhoods and had that problem myself. And so we're working, we're getting all this information together. We're working on a stormwater study and a wastewater study that really maps things out, and again, don't know why. Maybe it was done a long time ago. I don't know. We're going to do one that shows everything that we have going on now, where our concerned areas are, and what can we do to get funding to get those things repaired and upgraded.
Yeah, and that's good. And I've seen so many parish presidents that the ladder keeps going up because it makes a good gauge. You can see what people have done before, and then the next one comes up and goes, okay, well, we can do this.
Right.
Just like being a police chief. You can say, all right, this chief did this, the next one did this. I call it one up and in a good way, but you always want to get a little better.
It's a relay.
Yeah, well, that's
And really, that's why I was talking about moving forward, taking us from where we are today and just moving our parish
that's a good
forward.
way to put it, a relay.
I like that too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I think anything else before I want to come on for a while and tell him? You want to
Look,
say?
and my thing is safety, right?
Yeah.
Well, my guys or our guys out there, they're out there working. Be patient. Like I said, be prepared for detours. We're going to move traffic around as best as we can. Be prepared. Leave your house early. You might look. Kids are going to be kids. I'm sure they're going to be kids that want to play in the flooded street. So if you're planning on going and fly down the street, we're going to cite you. Okay, and it's not something that's acceptable. We need to respect everybody's property and respect that we need to move around in this town safely for the next 24 hours.
You make a good point. Now that I know what I know, remember when we were kids, we'd go out and play in the streets and the ditches? I wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. And look, I'm going to add to that. If you don't need to be out, don't be out. Stay in your homes if you don't have to be out. And kind of going in that, respect concept is that we got a lot of people out and about working in this, law enforcement officers, first responders, parish workers, they're out there in the rain, away from their families, working hard to make sure we do everything we can to protect property. And so I just ask that we have respect for those that are working and understand that they're just there to help.
All right, well said. And happy birthday.
Hey,
You'll get to celebrate it one day, right?
yes, sir. That's okay, though. I'm
Maybe
good.
just not today, right?
I'm out doing my job, and I enjoy doing my job as rough of a day as it may be with the weather and everything, but it is my job, and if that's what I do on my birthday, that's what I do.
All right, good deal. Chief, good to see you too.
Thank you.
All right, we'll sign off here on Facebook, YouTube, and HTV. We'll get back to regular programming on HTV, and of course, you could share this on Facebook and YouTube just so people will have an idea. If you have any other pictures you want to send us on HTV10, our webpage, go ahead and send it to us, and we'll keep on looking. We'll give you some updates as we get them, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again around the corner.
GenGators Power Systems is the area's leading Kohler standby generator solution, specializing in maintenance, repair, and installation on all major brands, from gas to diesel and 2 kW to 2000. Home or commercial, our team has you covered. Our factory-certified technicians and installers are highly trained to provide response and repair when you need it the most. We service what we sell, period. Trust the GenGators, where we sink our teeth into service.